Hello there, this is Miriam, holistic life coach and mind body practitioner at Pain Outside the Box. And today I'm going to be discussing a crucial aspect or concept that we work with in chronic pain recovery, and that's the concept of safety. So, as some of you might know, if you've been learning about chronic pain is often a danger signal, and it happens when the brain still thinks that there is some kind of danger, okay? So that could be some form of emotional danger. When you're repressing very strong feelings, you might get mind-body pain as a signal that, hey, something is not okay. Or it could also be danger in the sense that you don't feel safe using a certain part of the body. For example, maybe you've been injured in the past and you still don't feel safe using your shoulder or your leg. So each time that you use your shoulder or your leg, even though it's now completely healed from the injury or whatever happened back then, you're still feeling the pain because the brain still thinks that there is some kind of danger involved in using the area. So how do you stop this danger signal from being sent out to the brain and from pain manifesting as a result? So one of the things that people work with is safety. You need to teach your brain to feel safe. You need to teach yourself to feel safe using your body, right? Especially if it's chronic pain that comes up with certain activities or movements. So in this video, I'm going to focus specifically on movement, on helping those people who struggle with being more active because of their pain. I know that chronic pain can also manifest in other ways. But this is what the video is focused on. It's pain that intensifies or comes on with specific activities or movement. So, there is a trap that people fall into when they hear about safety for the first time. They think that by keeping themselves safe, they're going to avoid pain. But the thing is, we can get completely stuck in our comfort zone, and we can also shrink our comfort zone if we limit ourselves from doing certain activities. So let's say a person decides that he won't go for a walk anymore because there's pain after the walk. There's chronic pain after the walk. So if that person decides that, a walk is no longer safe for him, he's shrinking his comfort zone there. He's saying, if I ever go for a walk, then I'm likely to get pain. So this is the message that the brain is getting. And we don't do this on purpose, but a lot of people with chronic pain unfortunately end up shrinking their comfort zone as they end up not doing several activities that they used to do before. And it can be quite hard to get back to these activities because by the time we decide to challenge ourselves or to get back, the brain would have gotten the message that there's danger involved in doing that activity. So how do you work through this? So I know that it's important for the brain to feel relatively safe to pursue an activity because otherwise you might get a flare-up. But at the same time, it's important to also find a challenge for yourself and to find what I call the right challenge level, okay? So the right challenge level will be different from one person to another. So for one person, the next challenge could be to actually start walking around the block. For another person, it could be a jog or another physical exercise. So the right challenge level is the lowest intensity activity and lowest duration activity or movement that you could do that is one step up from what you're doing right now. So let's say that you haven't even been walking outside, then you don't decide to just go out for a jog immediately because that's likely to be overwhelming for your brain. And your brain is likely to react to that with danger. And as we know, pain is a danger response. So you're more likely to be in pain after that. So first, you start with walking a distance that's a little bit longer to what you've been walking before, but not too much that you feel completely overwhelmed or really scared. And so this is why it is a little bit tricky sometimes to find the right challenge level, but this is also why a lot of people give up on the mind-body approach, because they either try something too soon. For example, they wake up one day, they're so fed up of the pain, and they say like, okay, today I'm going for a 5-mile hike, and that's it. What happens then is probably during the hike or after or the next day, they're going to feel pain, there's going to be a flare-up, and that's going to disappoint them, it's going to dysregulate them further, and they're going to spend a week or two in bed. This is exactly what we want to avoid, because what happens there is you had a negative experience, you crash, and you withdraw to your safe space, to your comfort zone, to your bed. And by doing so, you're strengthening the idea that walking is actually dangerous for you. So the better idea would be to choose a walk that is way shorter, even ridiculously short sometimes, and do that every day until you can do it as normally as possible without even worrying about the pain so much. It could be that you will still feel some pain as you do this challenge activity, but not so much that it totally knocks you out, right? So it's very important to start small with this. I don't know, for me, it started with just a few meters. And when I was challenging myself to start running again, I just ran for maybe 5-10 meters, nothing more. So that was the next step up for me. I didn't just go for a jog. It might have been too much, okay? So it's all about feeling safe enough to try this next level activity, but without keeping yourself in that small, safe comfort zone and avoiding everything that you think might trigger your pain. So this is how we challenge and rewire the brain for pain-free. Is to get it used to the idea that your body can take this and that activity. But for your brain to get used to the idea that the body can take this, that this activity is safe, the activity needs to be repeated ideally every day, if not every day, quite regularly, okay? So it's not a good idea to just challenge yourself once a week and then spend the week, the rest of the week avoiding that activity or nursing your pain. That's not a good idea. It's better to choose something that you can do regularly, even if it's of lower intensity. So we are not training the body here. So we are not exactly training for fitness here. We are training the brain. So it takes a different approach. For some people, it starts with doing certain movements in bed that they wouldn't do, that they wouldn't have done before, right? So everyone will have a different next challenge level, right? So think about it. What have you been avoiding? And out of all of these things that you've been avoiding because of fear of pain, what is the activity that feels safest to you right now to try out? So start from the one that feels the least overwhelming. Find a good day when you feel grounded enough, when you feel positive enough and interested enough in challenging yourself, and try it. If the pain doesn't increase or doesn't bother you so much, do it again the next day. Even if it increases a little bit as you're doing it or after, remember that's a common automatic response in your brain towards the pain. So if you're able not to feel too overwhelmed by that pain, I would still suggest repeat it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Eventually, if you're not overcome by fear or distress, the brain will get used to the idea that that thing is going to get done, that activity is going to get done, and that's when the pain will start to fade away. So be patient with yourself. If you feel really distressed by the pain, as you're challenging yourself or really scared, please stop. That means you haven't found your right challenge level. And if you're struggling with this, struggling to find your next challenge level, or you're struggling with doubt when it comes to the mind-body approach, okay, or you don't exactly know what your triggers are, I offer the Pain-Free Breakthrough Program, which is a 14-lesson program with videos and readings, and also a workbook that will guide you through the process step by step. So you will be more likely to find where you're going wrong with the approach, and to identify your triggers and those habits and behaviors that might be keeping you stuck in pain. Okay, that's all from me for today. I wish you all the best and happy learning. Bye-bye.